So when he's not solving crimes, apparently Jack Reacher is fighting giant robots. That is right, Alan Ritchson is back once again as a military badass. You know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. What is going on, guys? My name is Sean, and welcome to my review of War Machine. Like, comment, subscribe, hype the video down below, join the channel, and share your thoughts on this film if you managed to check it out. The War Machine is brand new to Netflix, and it stars Alan Ritchson and is directed by Patrick Hughes. When the movie starts off, we're following him as our main character playing a guy known as 81 in the military, and he's on a combat mission with his brother. In this opening scene, his brother dies, and from that point on, we fast forward 2 years where he's trying to join the Ranger program. The Rangers are known as the RASP, and think something like the Green Berets, only the most strong, capable, sophisticated, and skilled soldiers can make it through this boot camp. And because of this, they're all going to be doing this for a couple of weeks before going on a final mission where they encounter a threat that is out of this world. Now, from that point on, I would describe this movie as Predator mixed with RoboCop. At least that's what I took from it, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. I didn't know anything about this film going into it. I actually had a buddy of mine text me, say it was pretty good, and I was like, hey, I'll look into it, looked it up. Alan Ritchson's in it. Can't lose with that, so hey, I'll check it out. Now, I'll start off by saying there are some things I really enjoyed in this movie, particularly the way it looks. Visuals, cinematography, you nerd out over that, this movie is for you because, my God, it is a gorgeous film. With the exception of a handful of terrible CGI moments, I love the way this movie is filmed. The contrast of putting these soldiers in the forest, by the waterfall, contrast of lighting, the creativity of camera work, drone scenes, dark lighting. You have some really cool water scenes where you're like underwater as equal with the tide. I thought it was all really cool looking. I was super immersed in this entire environment. It awkwardly stands out as something I have to mention because I feel like Netflix has that weird glazed digital look to everything they do. And I didn't feel like that with this movie. I thought it was very stylish, it was very immersive, and I just liked everything they were doing from a production standpoint. I don't think the characters are very memorable because they're military characters and he's known as 81 and they're all known as numbers. But Alan Ritchson, as he has proven well capable in the past with Reach or other programs, proves once again he can easily headline a movie as the badass, tough military guy while maintaining an edge that doesn't lose his toughness. I think that is a skill that's lost on a lot of action stars, but I think he really does nail that again in this movie. So when the movie starts off, he's kind of sad, he's grief-ridden, he's stoic, he's kind of reserved because of the moment with his brother, and nobody really knows anything about him throughout all of boot camp, besides the fact he's known as a war hero. Contrary to what they think, he hates himself. He thinks he failed his unit, he failed his brother. He is really struggling to get over that. By the end of this film, he's going to have to evolve into this leader because this new threat emerges. I really like the evolution of his character into a natural leader, putting his skills to test because he is an extraordinary soldier. I liked seeing him evolve past that grief-ridden guy into the badass he usually plays. I liked that from start to finish. I also didn't expect this movie to be so graphic. Again, for a Netflix film, some of the kills are CGI, but this movie, as a horror fan, really warmed my heart because there are some sinister moments in it. In fact, when the movie picks up around the halfway point and shit starts hitting the fan, I was like, all right, what are we gonna do? Whoa, what the fuck? It was crazy. I did not expect it to get as graphic as it did. People getting impaled, you have people getting delimbed. It is just an awesome thing visually, this threat, what's going on. I like all of that paired up with the environment. I was really into a couple elements of this once again. As amazing as all of this is sounding, I know I'm going to get ragged on for not having fun with the mindless action film, but all of the stuff I said about positives, I had some massive negatives with this as well. The main issue I have with this film by far is pacing. It's an hour and 40 minutes long. I don't want to say the movie is ever slow. I was definitely entertained from start to finish. This is one of these films, if you break it down, there's really 4 or 5 major set pieces of what's going on, not particularly acts. But the issue I had was if you break down those 4 or 5, they're really only 15 or 20 minutes of actual movie. They were just stretched across the entire runtime. Like if you condense these moments and you didn't expand on them so much, it feels like there's not a whole lot going on while there is stuff going on all the time. If that sounds confusing, let me explain. So the movie opens up, right? You have the opening scene with his brother. I explained that. From that point on, he's going to try to get in boot camp and be one of these Rangers. And you have the typical kind of military montage where he's doing drills and he's trying to join these boot camp teams. And that usually plays out like, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes in a movie where you have them doing drills and people getting cut. This movie's like montage when it comes to military exercises is legitimately 20 or 30 minutes long. Like, that's how this movie is paced. Feels like a lot of stuff is going on. There's really nothing going on. It's kind of one singular thing that's just stretched 30 minutes 4 different times. And the whole time this montage-like scene is being stretched out over the first half hour of the film, you're getting minor exposition bits in the form of media and NASA mentions about space missions, kind of how they warm you up to what the movie's actually going to be in the second half. I'm not gonna lie, when you get to the action scenes, I think they're fun. I think a lot of fans of casual action films will like this one as well. Again, it goes back to that concept, as I said, of the stretched out little scenes that could be like 10-minute scenes, but they go on for 30 minutes. I wouldn't give this movie a background noise rating, but this is the epitome of a background noise movie. When you're in the biggest moments of this movie, like descending a mountain or trying to save somebody from drowning, these scenes seem like they go on for 30 minutes apiece, because they probably do. So if you just condense all of it down, there's just not a whole lot of stuff. Like, this is a 4-page script stretched to 2 hours. Entertaining? Sure. Meat on the bone? Not a whole lot. And the last major issue I have is the characters are just not strong here, because as I said in the opening, they write this character for good reason to be this reserved loner who nobody in the boot camp cares about. So the only emotional element to this is the brother, which you're not exposed to for very long in the opening, and this core of characters that are part of his unit that's kind of cheating by being part of a military established unit that you should naturally care for, but in this movie they don't earn you caring for them. So by making him a loner and making him isolated and connecting with none of these characters off the bat, as you're in the second half of this film and these characters are getting picked off one by one as part of his unit, you don't remember their numbers, you don't care about these characters. It's kind of emotional because, again, you understand camaraderie empathetically. But as for the movie individually, it doesn't do a very good job at selling you on anything going on here. So overall, guys, I had a pretty good time with War Machine. I would categorize this as the most token, mindless action film ever. Not going to change your life, but there's worse ways to spend 2 hours. And there you have it, guys. That is my review of War Machine. If you like the film, comment down below, let me know, but I will see you in the next review. Peace.